So we get back to a job. So how do we visualize this? All right, the way we visualize this is Talend does provide an out-of-the-box visualization perspective, which again is the AMC, Activity Monitoring Console. And the way we see that is just go into Windows, Perspective, and AMC. And this is only true, of course, with the enterprise version. So in here, I can go ahead and if we have the AMC set up, we can go ahead and select the project, and that AMC should show up in here. Just so in the AMC perspective, what we're noticing in here is even though I have all that information showing up in the database, even though we've gone through and we can see all the information showing up in the database, what we want is to take advantage of that AMC perspective to visualize this data. But here in the AMC perspective, which I just came into, you're noticing that I don't have a project showing up in here, right? I should be able to select a project and be able to visualize what we have in that database. You can certainly use this, or you can use your own custom visualization. Now, the reason why we're not seeing any project in here is because we need to set this up within our preferences. So what we want to do to see that is to go back to Windows. In here, we want to select preferences. And then we want to select Activity Monitoring Console, which is the AMC. All right, if we expand that, what we need from the Activity Monitoring Console here is the data type. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, select that. And what is the source of that data type? In this case, we're using a database. All right, so I want to specify that that's the database. And there's a lot of information in here that you can specify, the number of days, how much information you want to visualize. So I'll just keep that as the default. If you had it stored to files, you can simply point to the files here, right? But since we have it stored to a database, I'm just going to go ahead, add a new database, call it Talend AMC. That's the name. All right. And then in this case, we're simply just providing the information to that database where we have it stored. Unfortunately, you cannot pull the database that you have from your repository here, so we'll just have to put this in, type this in manually. All right, JDBC parameters, we don't really need that. Host is localhost, so everything looks good. Let's test that. That's good. All right. And then let's go ahead and click next. What are the table names? So we just want to match those tables because we're basically reading that information and visualizing. So we want to use the same table names. For flow meter, I think we call that stats, and we call that logs, and we call that flow meter. All right, you're more than welcome to use this to actually select the tables themselves. But since I knew the names, I can just go ahead and type them in. All right, so let's finish that. And now we do have our AMC database showing up in here. So now it knows where to go look for AMC in order to use. So let's apply that and close. Now immediately you see that my AMC perspective now does show a project. So it does show a project for us. So what I can do now is select that project. I have a single database. I have a single project in here. If you had multiple projects, you can definitely see those multiple projects. Now, within that, I can see now those jobs, the detailed jobs. All right. And then it shows me a very beautiful dashboard of all the information. If you remember in the video, we ran a job that had processed a few records, and then it processed a lot of records. So we can see the execution time in here. We can see thresholds. We can see, the volume of the job if you want to see how much records it processed. So we can see all of that here visualized. All right, so I think we did 500 records earlier and then did about 10,000 records. And so you have a dashboard here, a trending dashboard, and you can quickly see what's going on with your jobs, right? From an operational perspective, if we expect 500 records and all of a sudden we're getting 1,000 records, we can put in some notifications around here to really alert and inform us about the health of our jobs. And all of that information is just a visualization that is being pulled from